know what the full truth is, but I know we're being lied to. And the American people know that also. And so, look, the time for disclosure is now. Disclosure today, disclosure tomorrow.
A call to action answered. Just days after demand for disclosure on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, a third batch of UFO files released. The 72 files unsealed Friday. They're giving you insight into the government's investigation into the extraterrestrial. Take a look at this. This is from an eyewitness. It captured the video with an iPhone 14 Pro Max last July. Do you see those two bright orbs? They appear to move in tandem in the northeast sky. Let's look at another one. This one's also from the northeast. It shows a plasma-like orb hovering above a pond. This one was also from an iPhone. It was also authenticated by the government. On top of this, there's also new audio from a 1962 interview between journalist Walter Cronkite and astronaut Gordon Cooper, where he claims a large number of, quote, exceptionally well-qualified people, end quote, have seen objects without a logical explanation. Let's take a quick listen to that.
But I think that there are so many possibilities, so many thousands of possibilities of other planets out somewhere in the universe that would have a livable atmosphere that I would hate to rule out the possibility that maybe there are people or some type of human life on some of these. And if this is the case, then it's not too unfeasible to think that perhaps some of these objects might have been something of this type.
So fascinating. For more, I'm now joined by UFO expert Joshua Golembeske, guest host of Comic Disclosure, who was at that Capitol Hill presser just days ago. So great to see you here. Thanks for coming on, Joshua. So what are your thoughts on this third batch of UFO files? Actual disclosure or just a drip feed of a mystery that keeps people wondering?
I guess more of the latter, more of a drip feed coming in. If you're in the UFO community like I am, you're a little disappointed about this, but don't get me wrong, this is significant because they're painting a very clear picture of what's been going on for at least 80 years. While these documents may seem dry, these videos may seem inconclusive, there's little gems in there that are painting a picture. For example, there's one document from the CIA that got declassified, number 19, that I urge everybody to read. It's actually an assessment from the Australian DOD that talks about how the U.S. government, the military, had been hiding this phenomenon for a long time. Project Blue Book, that famous UFO program, was basically set up to make the public think it was all ridiculous. But behind the scenes, the U.S. government was taking it very seriously, and not just taking it seriously, there was crash retrieval operations where they were attempting to reverse engineer exotic technology. Specifically in these documents, they mentioned anti-gravitic propulsion systems. You know, Hannah, this is something that's so extraordinary because if we were trying to reverse engineer these technologies 50 years ago, where are we today? What type of world-changing technologies are being hidden from the public? I want to know the answers.
I want to know the answers. Okay, so you mentioned classified document 19 that now the public can read. Is there any other specific video or files that stand out to you that we should definitely check out?
Yeah, definitely the videos. There's one thing they're trying to show us, and this connects to the presser, is this orb phenomenon. I think you used the word plasmoid. That word in particular is interesting. They're showing us a lot of these lights in the skies, these red orbs floating by civilians and the military. We have these older documents talking about green fireballs, different color orbs described as plasmoids. Now, that is very significant to me because this week I was at the presser on Capitol Hill, and David Grush mentioned two different types of NHI, non-human intelligence, that are visiting us. One of them he called plasmoid sentient beings. And in these files, we have videos and documents explicitly saying and describing these orb-like intelligences. And what's really interesting about it, Hannah, is that a lot of them seem to be taking place over nuclear facilities. This is well documented in ufology today, but these documents back it up, and I'm really excited about it because there's a clear connection between us in the late 40s detonating nuclear bombs and this phenomenon showing up.
I have to say, while we want more, I do appreciate the transparency we're getting from the government. This is so fascinating. I have a little bit of time left. I want to ask you about Steven Spielberg's new movie, Disclosure Day. The movie's about an alien cover-up within the government. Are people just craving aliens right now? What's going on? Do you think we're about to see a new wave of alien media, especially with all these documents and videos that we're seeing come out of the government. I have about 30 seconds left.
Yeah, absolutely. The movie doesn't seem like a coincidence, but it may be. And the movie paints a very clear picture that these documents back up, that there's a long-running government cover-up. We've been reverse engineering technology, and it seems like this is all part of disclosure to help the public grapple with what's going on. The basics are in the movie. They talk about a certain type of race of beings. I'm not going to give any spoilers. And they also talk about the government cover-up. And the most important part for me and why I work at Gaia is because of the consciousness connection and what it does to people. A simple UFO sighting will change someone's life forever. Regular contact can lead to basically enlightenment. This was studied by Dr. John Mack at the University of Harvard. All
right, Joshua Golembeske, I really appreciate your time. Again, there's so much fascination around these batch of files being released and the alien phenomena itself. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.